Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, alongside former Buckeye Justin Zwick, here's your host, Brandon Beam.
Beamer is out tonight. You get me back from last year and all those years prior. Timmy Hall. It's good to be here with you, Justin. The Buckeyes get the job done. It wasn't pretty for this offense. We got to talk about that red zone. Oh, that red zone.
Ryan was not happy.
37-9. Let's start with that. That's on the marquee. Buckeyes win the game. All is fine for now. Now, we love to nitpick at things, and I know everyone in that stadium is going to want to nitpick along with us with what went down, but you just said it there. We're watching this game conclude because we got the stream up. We're listening to Paul and Jim, but we got the Peacock stream on to watch everything, as you do. And they go right down there to a quick after the game. They get that first interview.
Before radio gets it looked like they lost.
He shook his head. He shook his head, and it was like curse words were going through his mind. And you understand, right? This is...
I do.
He knows what it's like doing this. He's been there before. He's felt all of those emotions. He has lost the games that you can't lose. Of course, he got back on the wagon, and they won the national championship last year, and that solved a lot of things, fixed a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
But we're seeing this offense here try to sort of grow in real time, and I think the main things are that run game, what Bo Jackson was able to do, but Julian saying here today, did he take a little step back, Justin?
It felt like it a little bit, but then on the other hand, we went right down the field. It felt like inside the 10, our offense kind of took a step back. And I don't know, and there was a couple of things where Julian missed on, in the red zone areas. Quick balls that could have got out, maybe to Ennis on the one going towards the open end. And then we had, I think, Donaldson in the flat going into the closed end on the fourth down that we didn't get any points on.
Those are the two that I have in my mind.
And I think what I kind of saw out of Julian tonight was, and I think I saw this even last week a couple times, where it's just you get a pre-snap read and you're just expecting, all right, I got Jeremiah out there by himself. I see the safety over top here. I see the corner rolled up on Jeremiah. They're doubling him. I'm going to go the other side. And I think it's a lot of making your mind up in huddle. There's an MMIH is what Tressel used to call it back in the day, when you break the huddle and you're making your mind up before you actually are reading what the defense is doing, right? Because you're just expecting.
Sounds like some sort of men's health acronym, but I get it. MMIH.
You're just kind of like expecting the defense to give you what you practiced all week. And so you're like, all right, I'm not even going to look to this side. I know they got the safety over top there. I see him right now. I'm going over to the other side. And then, as a young quarterback, you just get locked in on that. And as he grows and starts seeing this sort of thing, and it's happened a couple times here in the last couple games, he's going to grow from it. He's going to learn from it. He's going to realize, all right, I need to, as I don't need to sit there forever and wait for that but I need to peek at it just to see what that corner's doing. If he's really going to stay up on the line of scrimmage, I'm going to have that hole back there to hit Jeremiah, and not just come off of it. So I think there was some of that. And I think on those quick ones on the goal lines, we were talking, they seem like they should have been the first read.
Right.
So I don't know if something was going there.
That play that the first one you brought up where Brandon Ennis comes down in motion.
Yeah.
And then a guy with his athleticism and his speed, which, by the way, Ennis is just sort of out there running all over he's like a soccer player. He never gets targeted. It feels like it. Yeah. He's had a few opportunities, and I know you go back to the slot fade against Texas where
it would have been a great catch.
These are plays that, there's defenders that are there to play defense, but big-time players make big-time plays in big-time situations, right? You want some of that, but he didn't really get the targets, or he didn't get an opportunity today, and how could that one have not been the first place that Julian's going? Needless to say, even if it wasn't the first read, how are you not seeing that out of the corner of your helmet, how wide open he's going to break there?
Yeah,
Deliver the ball, and you got to get it out quick.
That's more of like an anticipation play, right? Because it's going to happen so fast. Because
he's going to make
that on the short side. Yeah. He's going to make that juke. You got to get that ball in his hands as quick as you can. Because
momentum doesn't take him
out of bounds. There was a corner out there, so the sooner you get it to him, the sooner he's able to make something happen if he needs to. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I feel like the tackle and the DN maybe got in his line of sight to that left side. Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think that end came out and the tackle kind of had to push, and so maybe he just didn't see it, and you're on the goal line. You don't want to give up a sack or something.
Yep,
And, maybe he took off and wanted to just try and find something else happening.
I don't know if the vision was there for
maybe,
that other one.
Maybe it was taken away, early, quick there. But I think that was one where it's like that looked like it was supposed to go to Brandon Ennis right there on the goal line, and he would have got in for a score. But other than the red zone areas and a couple of those missed little things. I mean, we put up over 500 yards total offense.
Yeah,
37 points.
But it's a big deal because I can think back to some big time games in the past. I mean, think of one of the most famous games in Ohio State football history over the last 15 years, that Sugar Bowl against Alabama, and that was not one of those Alabama teams that had one of the more legendary quarterbacks leading them. And look. He did fine when that was all said and done. They had Derrick Henry and TJ Yeldon and Amari Cooper. They had a lot of dudes and a good defense. But when you are settling for threes, early on, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball. All was well. In the end, they won the game. Tyvis Powell got the interception. Didn't want to go down, as we all know. But it's things like that when you think about these issues, if they're going to come against bigger opponents, then that's problematic when you're getting down there inside the 10, inside the 5, and you can't punch it in. And it was one of the early comments Day had as well, where I don't know if this was play calling, was it personnel, was it
coaching?
He
threw it all out there. He threw all options out there for sure.
And it does seem like it was maybe a little bit of that, but Brian Hartline was dialing up some things where some guys were open and then they were missed. But you also like to think you can give that ball to, Bo Jackson, CJ Donaldson. I mean, they had 225 yards on the ground, and Bo Jackson, again, with 9 carries, has 109 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he jumps out at you, and that's 2 games in a row. He just jumps out at you, and you're just thinking, and they got him in there earlier tonight. I think he was in. I think I saw him in the second quarter, maybe into the first.
He was in there.
They had him in there. So, I think if he doesn't drop that ball last week, maybe he goes in maybe a little bit earlier. But they still had him in. I think they realize what they have in him. He's just a young kid, and so they want to bring him along slowly. And these are the type of games where you can do that. But I also think that's where a lot of Ryan's frustration is, because you talked about, in the big games, you can't settle for 3. This is a game where you could settle for 3. You felt okay about it. You're fine. But the frustration comes is, we got to be able to do this. And if we can't do this in a game like this, what's going to happen on the big stage? We got to have that confidence that we have the big guys up front that are going to push for 6-7 yards inside the 10-yard line to get us a score.
Yeah, it was a weird game when, the Buckeyes don't cover this one. They win at 37-9 in the end. You think with the time left on the clock that they maybe get that stop and then get another chance. And you didn't think at that point that they'd be done. And they were starting to run the football better later in this game. You did have 2 100-yard receivers. Jeremiah Smith, he's God's gift to college football right now. 9 catches, 153 yards, and the touchdown. He high-pointed that one deep ball early in the game where he just showed the strong hands where the defender was
there. His chest. He just kept it out there the whole time. Here it is. It's a catch.
Strong hands. Catch that ball.
Yes.
Doesn't even need to get to my palms.
Exactly.
It's just my fingers are catching this thing, squeezing the air out of the ball. Carnell Tate with 5 for 101 and a touchdown. And, early on, he had a chance to make a play. Not to say that he had to make that play or you're a bum. There was an Ohio defensive back that ripped and made a nice play.
He's on scholarship, too.
Yes. You said it before. If you make that play, maybe
things just go differently.
The early portion of the game is different.
It was like last week, everything kind of went our way. We're making those catches. We're, scoring the touchdowns. And if we do go get that one, I feel like you're showing OU, all right, you gave us the ball. We went down and just scored on you. Just like that, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But we don't. And then we get the 4th down sack. And it's just like, and then we're at the end of the first quarter, and it's 3-0. And it's like, this isn't how it's supposed to go.
And one other thing for the opening segment here, Justin, we'll have Matt Patricia coming up here. In the next segment, his unit was great. I'm not going to get on him about giving up 1 touchdown here.
Although, I mean, we're not used to that. Come on, Matt.
Not used to that.
9 points? What is this?
But the turnovers, that's going to be it. The fact that you turn the ball over and, one of them was just sort of a freak thing. Maybe you didn't have the passing lane up the middle there trying to get it to Claire.
Yeah, I mean, those D linemen, they're taught. If you're not getting that rush and you see the ball coming up, like, get your hands up. And they just got lucky there, and it bounced around a little bit. So that one, I hate quarterbacks having that on their stats because he was open. If it didn't get tipped, he was going to catch that ball more than likely.
The
second one
can't happen.
Yeah, that's just a young quarterback who's trying to make something happen because he already, had one bad play and he knows it's there. He's trying to hold on to it a little bit long, and then he loses it. And then
eat the play.
Eat it, yes.
Eat
1,000%. And he...
What was it, second down?
Yeah, I think it was second down and maybe
You've
two,
got the lead,
something along those
eat
lines.
The play.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to give up that field
just
position
a young guy trying to make a play, and when you don't need to, and that's something going into a bye week, Ryan's going to kind of be happy how the game went in a way, because now you're going to be able to coach these guys. I mean, not that they wouldn't coach him hard anyways, but you can give him a little bit more crap here this next week.
You saw his face. You heard his
exactly.
voice.
So you get a win. You get, a comfortable win, but it didn't look great. A lot of stuff to work on. A lot of stuff you can go back to the film on.
Yep. We're going to be doing that. All right. Again, the final score 37-9. Buckeyes beat the Ohio Bobcats. Coming up next, we will be joined by defensive coordinator Matt Patricia as the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination.
Join us Thursday at noon for the next Ryan Day show presented by Roosters. If you have questions about today's game or the upcoming matchup against Washington, you can submit them via X at OSU Coach or go to ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on the Ryan Day show inbox icon. Again, final score 37-9. Buckeyes beat the Ohio Bobcats. We'll talk to Matt Patricia coming up here. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye show, postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota, including the best-selling Camry. It's all hybrid all the time with available all-wheel drive. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on any new 25 Camry or lease a Camry LE from just $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Buckeye fans expect a certain standard. That's true of the food they share on game day too, which is why Giant Eagle is always part of the game plan. With fresh, high-quality food and everyday savings, it's easy to tailgate like a champ or feed the ravenous fans at home. For long touchdown runs and effortless grocery runs, Giant Eagle is here. Giant Eagle, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan. Now back to the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Back here on our postgame show after the Buckeyes beat the Ohio Bobcats 37-9. Another dominant defensive performance from this guy's unit. He is defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. Matt, thanks for joining us. Hey, happy birthday. A little win against the state of Ohio here.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, it's a good birthday present. That's what we needed. But give credit to the players. They played hard. They went out and, just kind of kept grinding all the way through the game. It was a tough one. That's a tough team, but a lot of fun to be in the shoe at night, man. That was exciting. The fans are amazing, and the atmosphere is always incredible. So it was a good night.
Look, I know you've gotten the gist of this in 3 games now, how Ohio State expects to beat everybody. But when you have a solid MAC foe, an in-state team like the Ohio Bobcats, I'm sure you saw it on film how hard those guys play. They beat West Virginia last week, so you had to be prepared. And your defense seemed to be ready for Parker Navarro and everything that came with it.
Well, we certainly saw on tape how competitive they were, and that was a big win for them last week, and we knew that, they were going to come in all fired up, ready to go. So the guys really did a great job, I think, in the game trying to, confuse, show some different looks and coverages. We know they have a check with me system from the sideline, and our players just did an outstanding job with that and making sure we tried to stay ahead of them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the game, we knew Parker Navarro was going to be somebody who maybe was going to use his legs and kind of get out and, just kind of be something that we haven't really seen, as far as the other side's quarterback goes, just keeping plays alive. How much did your, game plan have to change when he goes out in the, that second quarter, he doesn't come back in and play, and then we have to revamp and go for the third? I mean, just coming in for your game plan, did you have to change a whole lot? I know you were spying him a little bit, at times, but, just talk about that and just switching from quarterbacks and just maybe the different mindset for those two guys.
Yeah, you are exactly right. That's, absolutely what happened. You have one game plan, you're ready to go, and the backup comes in, and he's a different, type of player. And, we come in at halftime, we're making some adjustments, go back out, and Navarro's back out there. So we got to quickly switch, and we were on the field first. So, certainly it took us a second there to kind of get back into the other mode. We were trying to switch game plans there at halftime. So it can catch you off guard a little bit for sure.
Matt, one of the things that we can see every single week is how impressive these linebackers are. The whole college football world knew about Sonny Styles, and most Buckeye fans already knew about Arvell Reese as well. But now that we get to see Arvell Reese on a week-to-week basis and to see how you're able to deploy him, the different things he can do, the places he is, approaching the line of scrimmage, dropping back a little bit. Describe what it's like to have a player with his skill set on that defense right now.
Yeah, these backers are so much fun. Arvell and Sonny and Peyton and young Riley. It's just, they do a great job. Coach Laurinaitis does an unbelievable job with that group. But, when you walk into the meeting room for the first time and you meet your starting linebackers and they look like Sonny and Arvell, you're pretty happy as a defensive coordinator, especially with my background and my linebacker history. I was very pleased. I think my smile was, from ear to ear when I look at those two. So they're great players, great guys, great kids, and they work really hard. But, they can cause some teams some problems for sure.
Well, we have the linebackers that can maybe do this, but just flipping things over to the offensive side of the ball, we're using the tight ends a ton this year, and I think Ryan's liked to do that in the past as well. But at times we'll have 4 tight ends on the field. We have the linebackers that maybe can handle that. But as far as other teams go, how hard is it for a defensive coordinator to just plan for they're going to throw 3 or 4 tight ends on the field? Like, how do you combat that? Because you just don't. You think you're going to run the ball when you have that many big guys on the field, but we have guys that can go downfield and stretch it and make plays through the air. How difficult is that for a defensive coordinator? Just all the different packages Ryan can put out there on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it was really tough in training camp. I really like watching it against our opponents right now, I'll tell you that much. I think when you're an offensive team and you can do that and put the defense in a bind where, you have 13 personnel or 14 personnel or things like that, you're really trying to figure out, all right, how much base defense am I in? How much sub defense am I going to be in? And, in today's game where there is so much sub defense, if you can get a team in the base, it's probably a pretty limited package. And I think you can, you can really go after them and attack them. So I just think it's really smart. It's a really great way to play the game. It's a good way to control the game when you need to do that, putting the big guys in there. And with the flexibility that we have at that position, I'm a little used to that in the NFL. We had a couple good tight ends up there. So I like watching that for sure. I love seeing that on the field.
Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, is giving us some moments here on the post-game show, 37-9 victory over Ohio. I know this is different now where we're getting the double buys on a more consistent basis, and it's probably the way that college football is going. How do you like this in week 3, get the break, and then back to Big Ten play, road trip to Washington coming up?
Yeah, we got some big ones coming up, and certainly that first one, making the trip out to the West Coast, that's going to be a real hostile environment to go to and tough place to play. So I'm looking forward to the bye week here, kind of catching our breath before we make this next run. So I'm excited. I think our guys are just getting better every week, and it's going to be another good week for us to try to improve, as we kind of head into the next stretch. So these guys work hard, man. I'm just so impressed with our kids, how much they love the game, how hard they work, and just how great they are every single day. It's just a joy to be around, I'll tell you.
I'm assuming you didn't get a birthday dinner. Well, obviously you couldn't. So did you do that on Friday, or do you get a birthday breakfast tomorrow?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I'm hoping they got one of those take-home box pizzas outside the locker room right now. Maybe I can grab one of those on my way and get a little birthday pizza. I don't know.
I mean, you're a coach. You got to know about like the 1 a.m. Tombstone pizza. Well done, right? Like you just got to keep the frozen pizzas in.
You run to the border on the way home, Coach.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? It's so true. In my earlier years, in late night food, I would literally send one of the coaches to Taco Bell. Just like, all right, look, here's $100. Get as much as you can.
The year 2000 menu is back this week, so good, man. It's good stuff. We got the double stacked tacos for us. All right, Matt. Yeah. Matt, thanks a lot. We'll let you run again. Dominant performance. I mean, they barely had 100 yards, and the team needed it tonight with the offense, and they'll get it going. Thanks a lot for the time.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you guys so much.
And we appreciate you, too. That is defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. Coming up next, we'll check your scoreboard from across the country as the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Hey, Buckeye fans, it's Paul Keels for Window Nation. Columbus, did you know you can get 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game if you replace all the windows in your home with Window Nation? This month, they're offering 50% off all window styles, plus no payments for 2 whole years. That's right, no down payment, no monthly payments, and no interest until 2027. Get big savings, plus 1-day installation with Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com today.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Tyvis Powell and I talk Buckeyes Monday morning at 6, only on The Fan.
Join us Monday night at 6 p.m. for our next Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King. Our broadcast team of Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, and Skip Mossick will break down tonight's game and preview the upcoming matchup with Washington. That's Buckeye Roundtable Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Again, the final score today, Ohio State beats Ohio 37-9. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
3rd and 10. Buckeyes at the 16 of the Bobcats. 3 wide to the left, single flanker Smith to the right. Donaldson in the backfield, and Sayin, the quarterback, looks to throw. Pressure coming. Sayin looking, rolling to his right. Julian Sayin. Sayin now will fire on the run into the end zone. Caught for a touchdown by Max Clare, tight end. Max Clare hauls it in. His first Ohio State touchdown, the 5th of his collegiate career. The first touchdown of the night, 12-0, Ohio State leading.
Yeah, that was a good one there. It's nice to hit the tight end in the back of the end zone. I am Timmy Hall in for Brandon Beam tonight. He would be, if he had a couple more days, I think he would have been back. He had a little minor car wreck yesterday. He needed us to cover him on his local show because it happened on the way into work.
And that's the worst. You go to work and you get in a little fender bender.
He told me he felt fine, all good, was worried about the car, kind of busted up. That always stinks. And then today the shoulders were kind of getting him, and so he needed.
Once he got bad, he was feeling a little sore. Yeah, I can understand that.
I promise you, if there wasn't a bye week next week, he would have made it back. But we were just giving him the day so he can feel better. He appreciates all the responses.
A lot of support online.
On social media for his well-being. Beam's a big guy, so he would be tough to bust up. It need to be like a car collision.
Something, somebody wasn't paying attention at that stop sign.
But Justin, that play that we just heard, you got to love that because Max Clare never stopped fighting on that route, and he even shucked a guy in the back of the end zone, kept his feet in because you can't touch that paint on the back line, and just kept giving Julian Sayin an opportunity to hit that throw. And that was one of those, again, tough to sort of fully diagnose or say that Julian Sayin played a bad game. He didn't play a bad game. You can't really say that. You can ask for some improvement in some things, but that was one of those pretty passes. It's not that he's not throwing the tight spiral or putting the ball on the mark. It was just a little bit for me with his processing, his diagnosing of everything out there today. Hit a couple of big deep balls and then had that touchdown that you just heard declare.
Yeah, and that one's nice just because when you get down in there, the windows are so small and everything happens so fast when you're in the red zone, when you're from the 5-yard line or wherever, that close to the goal line. So you don't want to try and force something. And then he just kind of took his time. He's, all right, I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to roll out here and get on the edge and see what happens. And, they coach these guys so well, and Max Clare is basically a receiver out there, so he knows what to do. Scramble drill. You see your quarterback going. You get over, you try and get into a lane where you can get into his vision, and Max did a great job of that in the back of the end zone. And Julian put a little on that. You could tell he saw him. He's like, all right,
I need this.
He's open, and he put it on there and made sure they had that one. So that was a great play.
Let's get it going here. Before we go to the scoreboard, Teddy, why don't we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Always and forever, your Ohio State flagship station.
WBNS-FM HD1 Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All right, Justin, where do you want to start here? Should we go to the top 25? We had a barn burner in South Bend. We're trying to look up here as our show is just coming on the air to see about Texas A&M and Notre Dame. This is when football becomes fun, right? When you have these strategy situations where A&M is down 40-34. They've got like a second down with 55 seconds left. They're right at the shadow of the goal line right there. And they don't want to give Notre Dame too much time because they've got 3 timeouts left as well. But let's play it through. Let's see what happened. Texas A&M trying to get that score on the board against the Irish.
4th and goal from the 11-yard line. Down 6, 40-34. Concepcion in motion from right to left. The shotgun snap, Marcel. Throws, end zone, caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Nate Borkacher! We're tied! An extra point to come!
So, Borkacher, great name, by the way, with the 11-yard touchdown catch. The call there from Texas A&M Radio, Andrew Monaco from Learfield on the call. And how about Reed with 360 yards passing in those two scores?
I didn't realize that was a 4th down play, too. I mean, what an ending to a football game. 4th and goal, down a score, and you get it on the road. What a catch there. I mean, receiver made a great play coming back for the ball, swimming the defender, and getting that catch for the score.
Notre Dame's last hurrah right here when they got the ball back.
From the 31-yard line, the snap to Carr, throws across the middle, complete, lateral. At the 40, out of bounds, Texas A&M comes on the road, defeats number 8 Notre Dame. A signature win for Mike Elko.
Woo! That's awesome. Same crew on the call there from Learfield. They get it done, 41-40. Now, Notre Dame, who is number 8 in the country, 0-2. They lose to Miami in the Catholics versus Convicts. And then they get the job. They can't get the job done.
Week, and then they come back and go,
And it's two good teams that you lose to. Marcus Freeman had these guys in the national championship game. They were 1/3 down in Jeremiah away from getting the ball back, and who knows? But that's a tough way to start. You're almost done with 2 losses out of the gates. You've got to be perfect the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It seems like Marcus has just always had something shoot him in the foot early in the season since he's been there. And last year, they were able to capitalize and get things going by the end of the year, of course. We saw him in the national championship game, but, you just want to come out and start the season a little bit better, and getting those first 2 down, that's tough.
So... yeah, that's how it goes for Notre Dame right now. Texas A&M is 3-0. You had number 6 Georgia on the road at number 15 Tennessee. This one this was crazy. Tennessee tried to get a field goal in there to win the game. It wasn't even close. This one goes to overtime. Georgia with the chance here.
Out of the shotgun. Hand it to McCray. There he goes. He drives in. They grab him from behind. Did he get the ball over? Close to the goal line. No signal yet.
After further review, it is a touchdown.
Oh, yeah! Rocky Top crumbles. Dogs are winners. 44-41 in overtime. How's that for a finish?
The call there from awesome. Georgia Radio. Scott Howard from Learfield, Tennessee gets the field goal. Georgia gets the touchdown to get it done in overtime, 44-41. Georgia's 3-0. Tennessee drops to 2-1.
What a game that was. A lot of Ohio State fans probably didn't catch the ending of that because our game started as that overtime started happening there. But, Georgia just fought back because Tennessee came out strong in that first half, and they were on the money on it about everything they were doing. Went up 21-7, I think, and then Georgia just kept chipping away.
Penn State hammered Villanova. That was a nothing game, 52-6. LSU 20, Florida 10. Gators are now 1-2, so some issues there. What about number 4 Oregon on the road at Northwestern? Not big problems, just sluggish. They had 17 points in the first half. They win this one by 20, 34-14. I actually thought Oregon was going to make this trip and win this one by 40 or 50.
I thought they were too, and I watched some of that, and they, Northwestern kind of manhandled them a little bit in the trenches, I thought, early in that game. Of course, they ended up taking care of business, but Northwestern didn't look too bad. The parts that I was watching, they were running the ball on.
And the toughness and the physicality, that's some of the foundations of Northwestern football, being good in the trenches. How about that Miami-South Florida game? Number 5 Miami, all over number 18 South Florida. Of course, the Bulls getting that big win against Florida, but 49-12. This was no contest. Michael Irvin very happy with the results.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Alex Golish was at Ohio State my last couple of years. Defensive assistant, so it's been fun to watch him kind of rise in the ranks, and they were the hot team coming into this week. If they'd have been able to pull another one off like they had the 2 previous weeks, that'd have been special. But that tough game, but Miami seems to be back. They're looking pretty tough.
Saying that already?
Well, it's usually early in the years when you say it for them. until they fall off. But
that's true. Got to say it now.
They're looking pretty solid right now.
Carson Beck, he's got lots of money. He's got lots of yards, too. He had 340, and he had 3 touchdowns. Texas topped UTEP 27-10, maybe a little bit closer than you would expect. We got to do the Arch Manning check-in. They're going to be all over him. 11 for 25, 114 yards, a touchdown and a pick. See, now I think Paul Feinbaum should be off of him. Last week he had 5 touchdowns, and he was ready to be done with him after just saying that he was the best quarterback of all time.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
The Heisman.
Yeah. I think he was like 0 for 9 at one point in time with 1 interception. I'm just thinking, what would our fans be doing if Julian Sain went out and was 0 for 9 with 1 interception throughout a game?
It's really, really problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel us now on Julian Sain, and he had 300-plus touchdowns and 3 touchdowns.
But he wasn't perfect, so it's like, all right, well.
Number 9, Illinois beats Western Michigan 38-zip. Illinois looks pretty good. How about Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt on the road at number 11, South Carolina, 31-7.
Yeah, South Carolina laid an egg at home, huh? I guess so.
Yeah.
Golly.
Commodores look real. Oh, and we get to another game that was earlier on. How about Georgia Tech and Clemson? What did you think of the fire drill to run everybody out onto the field? I didn't know what Georgia Tech was doing as they're in a 21-21 game, and they're running Haynes King right up the gut on 3rd and 7, and they've got like a 55-yard field goal. But, hey, I guess it was good enough.
I'm looking at the clock like they got to throw this ball here, right? I don't know what's going to happen. They're going to run this field goal team on the field and just kick it with 1 second left. They did, and it worked out. I guess when you don't give the kicker a lot of time to think about it, maybe it works out a little bit better for you.
It was pretty wild. It looked like the kick was drifting right, but I said to you, he turned the club face, and that ball drew, and
nice little baby
it.
draw right there. Right
baby
inside.
draw right into the middle of the fairway, right side of the fairway, gets it done. Oklahoma, they were talking about this weird road game. They were in Philly at Temple. No problem, though. 42-3 Sooners. Number 14, Iowa State. Another weird road game. They were at Arkansas State. Tough game for them. They got it done 24-16. Down in the SEC, number 17 Ole Miss beats Arkansas 41-35. How about number 19 Alabama beating up on Wisconsin 38-14? We figured that was going to be a tough one for Alabama. Ty Simpson had 382 yards in the air and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, so maybe all those people that threw away Alabama after week 1 were wrong. I mean, maybe they're a decent team.
Or maybe Wisconsin.
Well, hey, now, come on. They're fighting Luke Fickles. They're
fighting Fickles.
Come on. They went out and took care of business. I mean, Bama might be back. Who knows?
Number 20, Utah on the road at Wyoming. Got it done 31-6. Texas Tech, ranked 21st, beat Oregon State 45-14. The Michigan Wolverines slipping into the top 25 still at 23. Central Michigan, 3. Michigan, 63. Bryce Underwood, 235 in the air, touchdown. Ran it all over him, 114 yards and 2 scores.
They needed that. There's a little get-right game after last week, going down to Oklahoma and getting beat on. And, that's one of those things.
Finishing out the top 25, Justin Auburn gets South Alabama 31-15, and Mizzou beats Louisiana 52-10. The other ones in the Big Ten we got going on, West Coast. We know Devin Brown didn't win the job at Cal. It is 7-7, Minnesota on the road at Cal. This one is heading towards halftime. That'd be a big road win for PJ Fleck to get started off 3-0 if they can get it.
Yeah, it'd be nice. They're another team that always seems to start pretty strong. Early in the season. They'll come into Ohio State maybe undefeated, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. But always good to see PJ doing well up there in Minnesota. He was another one that was at Ohio State when I was there.
Little Maryland-like maybe with Minnesota, even though maybe Minnesota has some better results at the end of the year than Maryland's been able to pull off lately. But yeah, you get to that 8-win mark when you're the Gophers and you're starting to feel pretty good about the season.
You get those 6 wins, you get bowl eligible.
Absolutely.
Things are good.
Absolutely. Nebraska, 59. Houston Christian, 7. Tough to say what that one does for the Huskers until they get into some better competition. But I know there's some high hopes for them. Maryland, again, a hot start, but they're not playing anybody. Beating Towson, smaller school in that Baltimore area, 44-17. Rutgers, no problem against Norfolk State, 60-10. Michigan State beats up on the Penguins, I guess I can't say they beat up on them. They held in there, 41-24 the final. I was curious about USC on the road at Purdue because Purdue is not good. They were a one-win team last year, and USC just going on the road against anybody in this Lincoln Riley era now where they're just not getting the results. They get it done, but 33-17.
Okay. Yeah, I think they had a weather delay there too, didn't they?
Yes.
I think I went to tune into that one. It was like a weather delay.
Yeah.
So that's always tough to deal with, but especially when you're coming across the country. But Purdue's what? They have 2 wins?
They got 2 wins, but they have not played anybody. Yeah.
At least they didn't lose, though.
And let's check in on another Big Ten game. You had Iowa hosting UMass. They got things started off the score.
Couple tight ends, 1 running back. Almost the same formation. Play fake. Gronowski over the middle. Clock. Touchdown. Touchdown, Iowa. Seth Anderson, welcome to the party.
Seth Anderson gets in the end zone right there. That is Gary Dolphin, Iowa radio from Learfield, 47-7 as Iowa gets the ship righted. They lose that Cyhawk game 16-13 at Iowa State last time out. That's always like,
was that
that's
a passing touchdown, though, for Iowa? Hey, they learned how to throw the ball over there. Come on.
Pretty great stuff, right? Pretty great stuff.
And then I think Kirk gets his 206th win to take over Woody Hayes, huh?
Beautiful, right? Little MAC check-in. UAB got Akron 31-28 down in Birmingham. That was a tight one. Buffalo went on the road to Kent State. Another 31-28 score. Buffalo gets the win. Toledo 60, Morgan State 0. So the Rockets offense was flying today. And Bowling Green, love to see Eddie George and the squad doing well. Nice win over Liberty, 23-13. Liberty's always seen as one of those other programs like App State, like Coastal Carolina.
Yeah,
one of those
group of six good program.
schools.
They'll put together a good season or an upset win once every year, it seems like.
All right, Justin, I'm tired. Is that enough scores for now?
I think we covered them all.
I think that's enough scores for now. Let's get back to some Buckeye football coming up here, all right? So, again, the final score, 37-9 in our game. Ohio State beats Ohio. Still a lot to break down with this one. We're going to hear from head coach Ryan Day. A little angry, a little perturbed, Ryan Day. A little
frustrated.
On some of these things. Frustrated, maybe, as the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Next up for Ohio State is a date out in the Pacific Northwest at Washington in 2 weeks. Stay tuned to this station for the time of our AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show. Again, the final score today, 37-9. Ohio State tops the Ohio Bobcats. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The Electrical and Teledata Professionals of Central Ohio, represented by IBEW Local Union 683 and the Central Ohio chapter of NECA, are proud to support our team for another electrifying season. Whatever your electrical and teledata needs, you'll be a winner by getting wired by our professionals. Spearheading these state-of-the-art services is our Electrical Trades Center in Columbus, Ohio. Implementing both classroom and on-the-job instruction, they assure continued top performance. To find an electrical and teledata professional, visit www.cohneca.org. We'll see you at the game.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. Now back to the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Jeremiah Smith will go wide right. Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis wide left. C.J. Donaldson was the tailback, but he'll become a slot receiver on the right, leaving Julian Sand alone in the backfield. Sand from his 42. He sails a pass deep down the middle of the field for Carnell Tate. Got it to the 2, into the end zone. Touchdown. 49 yards in the air. Julian Sand to Carnell Tate, who got behind corner Tank Pearson. Throw 6 more up there. It's 29-9, Ohio State.
He really does throw a tremendous deep ball. I mean, you're seeing the way that the ball comes out, the tight spiral that Julian Sand can throw. And credit to the offensive line, because they did a great job giving him a lot of time to sit back there and make that throw. And I do think that you can maybe point to that as another thing to hope that Julian Sand takes a couple more steps with his progressions and making sure he diagnoses the correct spot to go with the football and get it there quickly. But that clip that you just heard, that was one of the highlights of the night. That deep ball in Carnell Tate. Yep. I think Carnell Tate winning on that route, too, where he fakes that.
It's the scheme as well, because you got Brandon Ennis running an in route, so that safety comes down. Like, it's just drawn up perfectly.
It's drawn up,
You're sitting back there, and with a young quarterback and an offensive line that is giving you protection, a lot of times when you're young, you'll, almost create pressure when maybe it's not there, just because you're thinking, all right, I'm holding on to the ball too long. I should have gotten rid of this already. You hurry yourself when you don't need to. So the more he gets that and more he realizes, no, this offensive line is giving me time to go through my reads, go through my progressions. I don't have to necessarily pick one side and only read that one side. I'm going to have enough time to get through my reads. And, that will all come. But he does throw a pretty ball. You heard him talk, or we heard him talking in his post-game press conference just about, throw the ball with some height. Let these guys adjust to it because they're such good athletes.
Absolutely.
Give them a chance.
Yep.
And I love that. But I also, on the other hand, we would have had a touchdown with Jeremiah if you just throw that ball five yards further on that first drive.
Yeah, the fade ball in the corner of the end zone.
No, the very first drive.
Oh, yes.
We're going down. Yep. Jeremiah catches it on the sideline. That's the one where he held it above his head. If you let that fly a little bit more, But in Julian's, you don't want to miss the layup. That's another thing. Quarterbacks, like, if you have a guy wide open, just make sure you get the catch. You don't want to out-throw him. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that going on as well. But he throws a pretty ball, and it just, most of his balls are just, it's like a handoff to these guys. In a way, like, he puts the ball right where they need it.
And when it's 50-some yards in the air and you're able to hit that guy in stride, you're right. I get that has to be a tremendously difficult thing to do, the art of the deep ball, where if your guy is so wide open, you just want to make him wait a couple of steps and you'll get the ball.
The receiver's wide open and the quarterback just puts too much on it because he's amped up and he wants to throw it down there, and you just hate that. So I'd much rather give our guys a chance to go have a 40-yard catch, and maybe we miss out on that touchdown, but he's doing a great job, and he's only going to get better as this year goes on, as well as the rest of the team.
So, I mean, if you didn't catch all of this game and you're going to look at some of the stats, you'll be a little bit befuddled because you'll say, how in the heck does Ohio State have 28 first downs? They've got 572 yards of offense. They ran it for over 220. They threw it for almost 350. It's because they had to settle for 3 field goals. Ryan Day, head coach, talking about those offensive red zone struggles tonight.
I think it's more about when we got down into the red zone, we weren't able to execute, and those runs were not efficient. So I'm going to obviously watch the film and figure out if it was, scheme, if it was coaching, or if it was personnel. And we got to do a better job when we get down in the red zone. We got down there a couple times, had to settle for field goals, and went for it the first time, went to kick the field goal the second time, didn't want to get greedy, and then on the touchdown to CJ, we don't get in. We step out of bounds. At that moment in that game, again, can't let ego get in the way and just kick the field goal. And let's not get this game into a situation we put ourselves at risk. Because I felt like we were moving the ball well. We just had to finish these drives off, which is frustrating.
See, that's where I don't know what's right. I don't know how I would do that if I was in his shoes, knowing the opponent that I'm playing, and if my frustration boiled over and said, you know what? I don't care if it's 4th and 7 right here. You're going for it. Yeah. We're Ohio State. We're at home against Ohio. We're going for it. And if you can't get it in 4 plays, they'll be held to pay next week. Yep. But, I get it. He took the points. Took the 3 points. They win this game easily, 37-9 when it's all said and done. It's just one that's not as pretty as we would have hoped.
Yeah, and with them going for it on the very first 4th and goal, you're like, all right, this is just going to be a game where he's just going to do this because we probably can. But on the other side, and we kind of talked about it, before we came on, it's like you want to get some work for your field goal team because at some point throughout the season, you're going to want them to have some work in. You don't want them going out and kicking their first one,
which I do agree with
in a big situation, right?
I have to stay consistent and say it's nice to know you have a kicker where you can win real games, because to win real football games in the end, you have to put the ball through the uprights.
Yes, you do. So I think there's some of that, and then you just want to get some points and. I think in the third quarter we go for that field goal when we stepped out of bounds because it's a 1-score ball game right now. So, they just had a big play, went down and scored. If that happens again, we're tied up. So let's just go ahead and get these points and, kind of go from there. But, getting that work in is good. And I don't know, listening to him talk there, I think he's more upset about the runs down in the red zone.
Let's see if the red zone issues affect the bye week plans.
Oh, yeah, we're going to try to identify those things. And, you're right. And part of that is playing through it with some inexperienced guys, but there's no question, we turn the ball over in a 2-minute drill and we don't score in the red zone. So we better spend some time on that during the bye week because you're right, the situations are important. And in a game where, they only have 55 plays and we only have 63, the percentages of situations become higher because you're not playing, 70 and 80 plays. So, we got to get better in those areas, and we'll make sure we address them.
Here's one more quick one from him where he did say that he was encouraged by how the team responded, how they kept fighting, they kept going after it. They got 4 touchdowns when it was all said and done. He knows the next 4 games going into a difficult run now on the schedule.
A lot of work to do here in the bye week because this run that we're about to go on is going to be a difficult run. We have to go to Washington. Just talk to the team about this. We got to come back, play Minnesota, then we got to go to Illinois and to Wisconsin, and that's going to be a difficult run. There's some good teams there, and so we got to make sure that we got our ducks in a row as we head into this run.
And Jay-Z, with him being the quarterback guy, it's going to be some close talking to Julian about where they go when they get out for that one. We will do some Buckeye leaves coming up here. Final score, 37-9. Ohio State gets the job done over Ohio. We're going to wrap things up, hand out the leaves as the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4 or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid. Excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
What's up, everybody? It's Tyvis Powell. T-Bone and I talk Buckeyes Monday morning at 6 on The Fan.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. Again, the final score today, 37-9, Ohio State beats Ohio. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
We have acres of brand new Chevys, Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, and Ram vehicles, as well as used cars and trucks that you're looking for at the Jeff Weiler Columbus Auto Mall in Canal Winchester. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we can find it at one of our 23 other locations. So come shop the lot or view over 2,000 cars right at your fingertips at JeffWeilerColumbusAutomall.com. Plus, use Weiler Direct to see monthly payments, value your trade, and get pre-approved. Rooted in family, driven by you.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Julian Sane will work under center. Carson Hinsman moving in motion. Tight end Max Clare. Fake handoff, give on a reverse, and it's Smith coming from left to right. Coming left side to the 10, Smith to the 5, and into the end zone for a touchdown. Jeremiah Smith was wide right, circled around to the left. 17 yards on that play, adding to Ohio State's lead, which is now 36-9.
I mean, don't make it easy on him when it's Jeremiah Smith, right? Like, that's... You got to get on him a little bit.
Yeah, they didn't do so much tonight, I don't think. He was open pretty much all night long, I think.
It was a fun night for Jeremiah Smith.
It was a fun night for Jeremiah.
Yeah, it was not a fun night altogether for the Ohio State offense with settling for 3 field goals. But when
inside
you look
the 10-yard line anyways.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was pretty good.
It was great for Jeremiah when you talk about 9 catches, 153, and a touchdown. And he just checked something off tonight. Fastest Buckeye to... What was it?
Reached 1,500 yards. Yeah, 19 games.
Yep.
I think
fastest Buckeye.
Jackson, Smith, and Jigba had it in 20 games.
Yeah, man.
So he's rewriting the record books already.
Look, I mean, it goes without saying, the fact that Jeremiah Smith was able to get so much of that work done as a true freshman, and you unless you're going to Maurice Claret this thing and challenge the NFL, we believe he'll be in college football for
another year,
all of this year and then all of next year. There's no way outside of a comet hitting planet Earth or something other bad things just happen, he will lead in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. He will be your all-time leader.
You're right. If he stays healthy and everything goes according to plan, he's going to come out and rewrite those books.
That's the guy. Yeah. So we know we're going to give him a whole sleeve. Let's hand out some Buckeye leaves, Teddy.
It's time to hand out some Buckeye leads.
All right, so him, he
definitely gets one. I was thinking I'm going to give one to Bo Jackson. I might have stole that from you, but I mean another 100-yard rusher tonight. 2 games in a row for a freshman coming in, getting some play. He took care of the ball, didn't put it on the ground today. I think he got a little talking to after last week, trying to reach that one in. And, he lost a little bit, so I think he got a little talking to, and he's a little better off tonight. And he just gives that. I don't know if it's an extra burst or whatever it is, or if the holes are just there and they're easier to run through when he's in. But
look, let's not overcomplicate this. Yeah. I'm always when we're dealing with running backs, I always believe that the way they recruit that position, you're going to have guys. Now, maybe it's a guy that's different than the one that you thought was leading your depth chart to start a season. You're turning over 2 really good players. Job is up for grabs. C.J. Donaldson gives you sort of a bruising thing.
Yeah, he's been around. He's a little vet, somebody who's done it before.
He was okay at the end of the day. James Peoples finally popped a little bit.
A couple,
6.7 per carry. But Bo Jackson is 9 for 109. It's pretty simple now.
And that long one,
pretty simple.
That long one, it wasn't a huge hole. He went up through the middle of the defense. He broke a couple tackles, jumped around a guy, broke another tackle, then, stiff-armed a guy for 15 more yards. I mean, he seems to have the total package, just a young guy, so I understand that they want to bring him along slow, and you're going to need more than one guy in that room anyway, so you're going to keep playing all of these guys, and they're all, finding their way.
How did it work, Jay-Z, under Tressel? If you had a game like Smith had, like a million plays made, what do you get, like 4 leaves, 5?
Oh,
like,
God.
what is it per play? Like,
back then, it was kind of hard to get those Buckeye leaves back then. You had to hit certain numbers offensively. Now, they would have hit them today. I think we had to have 200 yards rushing, 250 yards passing, certain total amount yards.
Then all the starters
would get one on the offensive side of the ball. And then if you had a touchdown or if you had a
an extra
big
one.
play, you might get an extra one. So I imagine.
So Smith gets like at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, they could just go ahead and fill his up. Nobody would say a word.
I mean, you're hitting bonus points in fantasy football with the 150 threshold, right? Like you're doing great things. I thought on the defensive side of the ball, you're looking at your linebackers. We talked to Patricia about Reese, Sonny Styles. Caleb Downs is always out there just making crazy good plays. You know that. Peyton Pierce is flashing as another one of those young linebackers. But the DNs, we're looking at 4 tackles for Caden Curry, and he was getting in on the action with some sacks. You had 3 from Will Smith, 3 from Tywan Malone, 3 from K-Mac, 2 from Bo Atkinson and a sack, and 2 from Kenyatta Jackson. The D-line cycled in there. All of them are making big plays tonight.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. We were just talking, replacing all 4 of those guys basically from last year to have that strong of a group. You didn't have anything going for them tonight. And when you have your defensive linemen getting that many tackles, usually it's the linebackers are coming to clean things up. But when your D-line's having that many tackles, that means they're fighting off the blocks and they're plugging up the holes and their running backs are just running into their arms. It's really nice to see that defensive line having that kind of stat line.
How about the field goal team?
Hey, there you go. Let's go. We made field goals.
Long snapping is a part of football. We got to put that thing on the money. We got to have place holding in football.
Have it all. Yeah, you got to block.
You got to block it. You got to have Jaden Fielding knocking it through the uprights. You can kill it there, Teddy. So Buckeye leaves for all of them. Now, Jay-Z,
it's a win. Everybody gets one.
It's a win.
Yeah.
It's a win, right? And I'll give you the final thought after I just say this. I know we expect perfection. I think I still have a little bit of the you just won the national championship rolling for me. So I'm not going to go crazy over some red zone issues, and I'm gonna think that this is still just a team that is growing and they're not close to the team that they would be near the end of the season when they'll be entering that mode where you're definitely defending your national championship. They're not really there yet because a lot of these guys are still going to get so much better.
They're so young, and we know that coming into the season, but then you have a big game against Texas that you win, and then you go out and you score 70 the next week, and we're just like, oh, it doesn't matter. They're young. They're just going to be they're that much better. Yeah, they're still young. They're still going to make mistakes. They're still going to miss some things. And like you said, they're going to be a totally different team by the end of the year. So to go out, you get a 37-9 victory. Didn't look great. Wasn't what you wanted it to be. But it's a win. You go into a bye week, hopefully pretty much healthy. I think Lorenzo Styles may be the only real question there on what happened with him. But, getting out of a game like that somewhat healthy going into a bye week is only a good thing, and then we start Big Ten play when we get back.
Yeah, double bad. Lorenzo got hurt, and he's going to have that film review of the touchdown that they gave up and not tackling the guy after that. That's the one stain on the defense. Justin, thanks for letting me sit in here today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, this is good.
Great to do it again. The executive producer of Ohio State Radio Sports is Skip Mossick. On behalf of our studio producer, the great Ted Holbrook, and for Justin Zwick, I was going to say it, I'm not Brandon Beam. I'm Timmy Hall. We wish Beam to be back, and he's doing just fine. And join us on Monday night at 6 for Buckeye Roundtable. It's presented by Burger King. Then Thursday at noon for the Ryan Day Show presented by Roosters. The Buckeyes are idle next week. They'll be at Washington in 2 weeks. Stay tuned to this station for the time of our AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show. Ohio State football has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by Bob Evans Farms. Once again, the final score today, 37-9. Ohio State beats Ohio. No fighting between mascots either. Just fake fighting. And it was just fun for all the kids. Thanks for listening. This has been Buckeye Football on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
And brought to you locally by State Farm, your Central Ohio Toyota dealers, and by the Diamond Cellar. On your home of the Buckeyes, live and local weekdays beginning at 6 a.m. with T-Bone and Tybus on the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.